start with is I'll just hit play. Yep. Yeah, we'll be like 10 minutes on here. Yeah, it's fine. Alright, so we'll just let it play a little bit so you can kind of watch yourself in motion before I start pausing it. It definitely looks alright, and when you mentioned stuff with like having problems with one side, I was expecting it to be a lot more wonky, but it's not.
I reckon I've...
You must have done some good working on it. Yeah, because it doesn't... I was expecting you to be really one-sided when you jumped in, but you're not at all. If you hadn't mentioned it, there's a few things I wouldn't have noticed on there at all. Alright, let's go back to the start of the first length and have a little look at your stuff from above the water. So you've got a nice recovery for try. Bit of a mix between sort of a classic swimmer's high elbow and a little bit higher than like maybe you're a bit wider rather than bringing it through. But I think that's perfect. It's all good. Hand entry, fingertips first, all good. It's quite far out in front, but again, that doesn't matter too much. Same on the other side. A little bit higher elbow and higher arm on the other side.
I'm a bit stiffer on the right.
And then same, good fingertip first entry. So what's going on above the water with your arms? All good, I would say.
Okay, that's good.
Let's have a little look at body position from above the water before we look at it under. So you're definite got heels coming up on the surface. We can see your whole foot there.
Is that good or bad?
That's good.
Okay.
But I think you are a little bit dipped in the middle. And we'll have a little look at this when we come underwater.
That looks like...
I think you could find some gains. And it might be, my gut feeling is maybe you need to drop your head a bit. And you're looking quite far in front. And that's what's causing you to kind of look there. And then your body is there. Whereas if you dropped, it looks a little bit closer in front of you. Not straight down, but a little bit more angled.
I do find that my core's been pretty active. I don't feel like it's working anymore.
Yeah.
That might be something that's happened over the last 6 months. I'm not sure.
Possibly. But yeah, I think that little drop in head position might lift your hips up. But we'll see it better underwater. But yeah, you've got your feet are definitely on the surface of the water, so it's not like your body positions. I mean, swimming 112s, 100 is not going to be horrendous anyway. But yeah, I think maybe your hips are a little low in the water. This is just me zooming in on your hand entry a bit, which is all good. Breathing position is good on both sides. You're doing a pretty good job of like when you turn to breathe, one goggle in the water, nice mouth position, all pretty good there. But yeah, I would say your head looks a little high here, and it could be tucked down a little bit. Alright, from above, so usual things we're kind of looking from above. Are we crossing over our hand entry? Definitely not there.
That's all right, yeah.
And definitely not there. I'd say you're nice and in line, and in general, your body position is pretty straight. Leg kick, pretty good. You have the occasional wide kick, so just every now and then, like that.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, you could maybe, we'll see how many things we list to work on. You could have that as a focus.
My kick is pretty good,
but it's probably not slowing you down heaps, I wouldn't say. I think there's a few other things that we can talk about. Right, let me just note these down so far. So we've got lower head, and we've got slight scissor kick. Alright, let's talk about those arms and this kind of catch-up business going on. So this is probably the best angle to see it because we're straight above. So you can see here that right arm has finished pulling, and let's see how long we have until that left arm does anything. Probably, we can say now maybe, right? Yeah, so there's a pretty big catch-up going on there, and a pretty big dead spot of no propulsion going on, basically. You're obviously still carrying a bit of momentum from that right pull, but you'll be slowing all the time during that phase before this left arm starts to pull. General good guide of like when your hand should cross over should be about like just in front of your head, so you can see that you're doing more of a catch-up than necessary. From my eyes, I think it's when I was watching you swim, it's pretty much the same on this side. So that left arm finishes pulling here, and that right arm is going to start to pull about now. So both arms just want to go slightly earlier and just reduce that pause out in front, just to carry the momentum more. And it'll be a slightly different style of swimming at the moment. I don't know, I think of that as like being a bit more big gear on the bike, if that makes sense. You're like putting a really strong pull in, and it's a bit slower turnover.
I've always naturally done that in the pool.
Yeah, and I think that's why you don't need to sway too much away from this style of stroke, because it's probably your style and it's how you swim, and you don't want to kind of rechange everything.
The bike on the opposite, I'm spinning.
Oh, really? That's quite interesting to know that you're more of a spinner on the bike. So I think you want to stick with this style you are swimming, but focus on removing the pause a little bit at the start. You're not going to be as like someone who's swimming like a windmill, but there's definite slowing down in your stroke, going on there where you could find some time. So we'll go through a few ways of working on that. Right, let's go under the water. Interesting. Alright, so let's have a little look at that kick and body position first. So we'll let you get into a bit of a rhythm. Yeah, so I would say for your speed, you could be slightly higher in the hips. So we would see bum out the water on some swimmers. And I think, yeah, you can see, especially if I just pause it here, that we're a little bit dropped through there compared to like the
really
lane
nice,
rope.
yeah.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Let's have a little look at your head when you are down. Yeah, so you're probably looking about there, I would say. And textbook, we would say 45 degrees.
Yeah.
The sinky leg guy who I just saw before you, I was telling to look down here.
Yeah.
So for you, we definitely want to just nudge that head down.
I've always been thought 45, but I'm clearly not looking.
No, you're
45,
looking
am I?
further ahead
I'm
than
looking
45,
closer,
yeah. And that's such an easy game because literally it's no more effort. But if it lifts that body position up and gets you into a nicer position, it's like a free gain for no effort. Getting rid of that pause is going to also require more effort because you're turning your arms over faster, but that's like free speed there, really, yeah. Yeah, so definitely head position a bit lower when we're down. All right, let's have a look at this front end of the stroke. So really nice high elbow there. That is a great high elbow position.
Better than my right.
Let's have a little look at the right. So that is all right there. We're going to ignore what happens here for now. We'll come back to that in a minute. Yeah, you're right. So it's actually pretty good there. So that's all right.
Yeah.
We've got a good shape there. Not very often see someone in a full, nice barrel shape. So that's pretty good. Let's go back a little bit though. So there's a few points. Let's watch left first. Left is good. So there's never a point on your left where that hand is flat. You've always got it pitched at a nice angle to start pulling good.
My right arm's the one that's bodged up. I mean, I broke my collarbone a while ago, and I think it's probably silly that I didn't.
Possibly could be then.
I know that this is too active, this isn't active, and I need to try and use my back muscles more.
Yeah.
And so I've been focusing on trying to keep that line.
And get that
And I've been
straight.
noticing that recently in swimming, that I've been looking ahead and just
It's
a
up
bit more like
almost,
that. And I stop doing that,
So yeah, if we watch it like here,
Yeah,
you can
that's
see that elbow goes below the hand.
Yeah.
You're lucky in the sense that a lot of people that get into this position would then spend the rest of the pull pressing down.
Yeah,
But you
I
correct
sort of
it. Yeah, pretty good. You do then by about here. Let's say
takes me
you've got
ages
your
to get
hand
there,
pitched,
though,
but
yeah,
it is,
yeah.
and there's a bit of. I mean, hopefully we're going to remove all of this, but anyway, so it
yeah,
might not be
alright,
there.
yeah.
You might have. This is the dead spot at the same time, but you can see right hand in. Probably reaches up too much, I would say. So one easy fix on that would be to think about pitching it slightly lower on the reach at the front, so you avoid being in that position to start with. You're going to end up more like you are with your left arm. And then, to be fair, when you start pulling, you'll be in the right position anyway. You're not too bad. You're at the time your elbow drops is in the dead spot. So if you watch it go in, while that hand's waiting around out in front, that elbow's gone down. When you start to pull, you kind of do correct it about here, I would say, and then you get a really good pull from there. But yeah, so it's that initial bit of the right
the dead
pull.
spot, I might remove the, what's it called, praying mantis or something like that.
Yeah, well, I just call it breaking if someone does that, if that makes sense, because you're not too bad, but some people end up palm forwards rather than fingertips forwards. Alright, so we're definitely going to say right hand entry / catch. I mean, we've probably got enough stuff there already. It's always nice when you have. So I always worry when you get someone fast. I'm like, are we going to find some stuff here? But you've definitely got some stuff to work on. Yeah, you see the difference here. So watch that. This arm. You see the depth you reach forwards into. So you've got a nice depth here, but then that pitches you in a really good position to like start the pull.
I'm right on the surface, aren't I? I'm trying to hold the surface.
Yeah, here the difference is that arm's up there, which then means you've already started with that elbow drop on the front. Yeah. So that right hand needs to go in way deeper on the front. Hopefully that'll just solve most of the problem because you're then going to start your pull from here rather than
I think my right arm entry is a bit shorter than my left.
We can have a look at that
Does that
from
make a
above.
difference?
Possibly.
So if I
You're going in earlier, but a lot of people do. Yeah, because this left you go out almost. It's not too different. From above it looks a lot further forward. Yeah, you are. We'll go back to it in a second. We can have a look at that first angle. It's quite good for that. This is just me filming from the front. We don't need to worry about this too much, but you definitely also rotate a bit more on one side than the other.
I think.
If if you watch your angle, you're breathing this way, but I think also when you're not breathing this way, you turn slightly more through on that side.
So which side's that?
So that's when you're on twisting to your right, if that
So
makes
I'm
sense.
always
You
like
turn,
this.
yeah, more. You're almost at 180 on your
I'm
side.
always like sort of this.
Yeah, exactly like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
But your stroke doesn't look massively one-sided that I would say you need to be like worrying about that. And it might just be a consequence of what's going on with that hand on the way in, that right hand.
I'm not surprised by that because I breathe a lot to open water that side, so that makes sense.
That's your preferred
I think
side
so,
on
yeah.
open water, yeah.
I think so. Or is it? Well, I'm not sure anyway. But yeah, I get what you mean.
Let's just go back to this first. Oh, I filmed a bit more just in case. Oh, you can so obviously see the difference between those arms though. Yeah, watch this one. In, pitched with your hand nicely down, and then this one opposite, a hand pointing upwards on there. Yeah. Alright, cool.
Yeah, if my left hip on my right did, then I'd be quite good.
Yep, that's basically all we need to do.
Yeah.
Let's just watch these entries.
So my right hip.
So, no, I'd say that still goes in alright. This left does go in much more extended out the front.
Yeah.
But that shouldn't make too much of a difference because it's basically, you can still go in there. It's where that hand goes to under the water and not reaching up. And sometimes, I don't know, I find a lot of people focusing on trying to be long, end up reaching up, if that makes sense, and just kind of trying to stretch it out.
Yeah.
And almost swim the way you are with that kind of like longer stroke, but they end up reaching up in front. And every time we reach up, your elbow's down, and then you're kind of starting in the wrong position rather
Get
than
the back activated.
And I think you're probably, it's hard work going from that position to that position in that short space of time that you do.
That's probably what my pecs are at.
Yeah.
It's probably having to do that.
Yeah, you're having to do a really awkward movement.
Yeah,
to
whereas
go.
if I don't do that, then
Yeah,
that's
just
probably
skip
my
that bit
getting
out.
straight over
Yeah,
the road.
I think it'll get rid of that, and it'll also speed up your stroke naturally because you're not doing the bit that goes from there to there, going to there. So you might find, quite often people do that with both hands, and when they like start to go in pitched earlier, you get a natural turnover pickup anyway because all you've done is remove the kind of bit at the front that was a bit useless anyway on your stroke.